Hello. The economic concept that we are here to talk to you about today is comparative advantage. What is comparative advantage? Comparative advantage is the ability of an individual or a business or a country to produce a good or service at the lowest opportunity cost than another country.
A simpler way of saying this is, when a country has a comparative advantage over another country, it means that the country can produce a good or a service at a lower cost when using the same amount of resources. In other words, the country who already has the natural resource has a comparative advantage over the country who does not have the natural resource and therefore has to import the same raw materials to be able to use them.
An example of comparative advantage is, say if Japan is better at producing vehicle parts than the United States, and the United States is better at producing optic and medical instruments, then Japan will spend their time and resources producing the product that they are most efficient at. Likewise, in the United States, we will not waste our time and resources producing vehicle parts. We will let Japan do that, and we will focus on making optic and medical instruments. Since that is what we have a comparative advantage in, we will exchange these products through importing and exporting.
On a smaller scale, for example, comparative advantage could be a supervisor of a cafeteria might be better at running a dish machine than an unskilled worker getting paid minimum wage to do this. However, the supervisor's time should be spent doing more valuable tasks like keeping things in order and making sure jobs get done, since he is the only person trained to do those tasks, while the unskilled worker's time is not more valued for another task. Therefore, the supervisor has a comparative advantage over the unskilled worker.
Another example is, say you are a manufacturer producing aluminum and you are competing with other manufacturers, and you have found a more efficient way to make your aluminum at a lower cost, such as using less electricity to melt it, or generating less waste and therefore spending less money on new materials. If it costs you less to make your aluminum than it costs them to make theirs, then you have the comparative advantage.
Another example is when people specialize at certain tasks within a business, say a mechanic shop. If the person who is doing oil changes is really good at doing tire alignments, and another person doing tire alignment is doing tire alignments inefficiently, but is good at changing oil, their manager might observe that these workers have comparative advantages over each other and should switch jobs. If we had to explain this to a caveman, we would say this: you're tall, you're short, you're closer to the ground, so you can pick up more rocks off the ground in the same amount of time as him. You have the comparative advantage.